Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys liked the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward.
What's up, guys? Altcoin Sherpa here with a crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I am not an expert. Do your own research. Okay, so today I just want to briefly review Bitcoin. I'm going to be doing mostly altcoins because just because I want to review altcoins. But I just really briefly want to talk about what my strategy is for Bitcoin. Right now, I am viewing to see if we are going to hit a higher high. So Um, I'll start marking some highs and lows. So this was obviously the last low, and this was like the 33K level. It's looking like this was potentially a higher low, around kind of like this. Well, the wick was 34K, but then we started to form this higher low potentially, and you could maybe denote this last area on mid-January around 44K as a high. But if you don't, that's totally fine. You know, it's these highs and lows are very subjective in my opinion. I do in fact mark this 46K level a high personally, or it's 45.8, whatever you want to mark it as. So to me, if we break this current level, this 46K level, which I think that it's looking like we might certainly do it, then I think that you have a very good case for a higher high, higher low. And what does that mean? It means that we are in a bullish market structure on the daily. Does that mean we're going to go to like all-time high levels? I don't know. Probably not. But um, I think it's likely that we hit some sort of um, bullish market structure in at least a short-term period. There's still too much uncertainty with regards to like the rate hikes and war and everything else, so you know we don't really know what else could happen. But at least in the short term, if this breaks 46K on high time frame charts, then I think you have a very good argument for bullish market structure. And if this happens, then I think that a lot of altcoins will do pretty well, especially with their alt USD pairs. But with regards to the alt BTC pairs, I think only a select few will do well. Now, that's kind of my overall thought process. It's still a bearish market structure until shown otherwise. Like this is still bearish. You know, if we hit a lower high and start grinding back down lower, that's still bearish as well. But for now, like, but if this 46K level gets broken on high time frame charts, I think at that point you can start to really make some bullish arguments in the short term. Okay, so let's go to some altcoins. Let's look at Fantom. Fantom was one coin that flipped a 200-day EMA recently. You can see this red line. Traditionally, it's a pretty good entry area. It was last touched in early December, followed by late February, where it kind of consolidated underneath, and then it broke above. I think the next level up would be around this 240 area. You can see that there's resistance several times along that area. And to me, it still looks like it could go to that point. The EMAs have flipped bullish, which is interesting to see. You know, you see price consolidating quite a while, but now price flipped above the 200 EMA, the red line, and is now above it. If I were to look at this coin, I would probably try to grab an entry around $2, or like 190. I'm sorry, 191. It's kind of an area. This is an SR flip because this area has provided support in the past. So if I were to try to grab an entry, it would probably be around this 190 area, and I would target the 240. Now, of course, everything that I talk about today too is with the caveat that Bitcoin is going to be in a stable situation. If Bitcoin basically just starts to dump really low, or like starts to retest like the 38Ks or whatever again, then like all these charts are going to go like all the way back down to where they were before. But if Bitcoin is in fact in an okay kind of stable price range, then I think that there's certainly a little more upside for altcoins. So that's kind of my overall thoughts for Fantom. I think that 190 would be an area that I would look at. It's a 200 EMA, so traditionally a good area as an SR level. And yeah, I think Solana is the next coin. I think this is actually forming a bottom, and I think we feel pretty confident about it. I think this type of structure that we're seeing right now, this price action that where it's almost like a kind of like a double bottom where you see like this move up and like another kind of move down. Um, it looks pretty good to me, like especially the way that price is chopping around, and you're starting to see a little bit more buyers step in with regards to the volume amping up. And I don't know if this is going to move quite yet. I think that there is an opportunity cost, but I think that this is a good area for swing trade personally. I think that like if you just buy and then you like sell it within like a few weeks or a few months or whatever, I think it's like pretty high probability that that bottom is mostly in, unless Bitcoin shits the bed, of course. Like if Bitcoin shits the bed, then this is going like sub like $60 probably. But until that time, I think the bottoms are mostly in personally. Um, so yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see this like chop around and consolidate just a little bit longer, maybe like hit up to like the 120 area, like kind of close to these EMAs, like very big confluence of the EMAs and high volume node, around 130, 140. And then I think that once this chops around a little bit longer, then you can really start to look to buy this one. But I think that the overall like most of the like the bottom is mostly in for the most part, and you can really see the EMAs too. They're really they're really starting to consolidate overall. Like when there's a large gap between price and the lagging EMA too, like this is another good indicator. Like see how this 200 EMA was the perfect resistance level in early February, right around 120. It's because there was a large gap between price and this EMA. But when you start to see price and the EMA start to clump together, kind of like similar to what we're seeing right now, I think that it looks really good overall, and you start to see price compressing. Um, and this is the type of bottom structure that you really want to see too. You don't really want to see like, you know, you can make the argument here that the EMAs were all clumping together, but this is still a pronounced downtrend. And what's really important here with this current price action is you see this bottom followed by a lower high and then like another return to the bottom. You never really saw that back in late December. You saw just like kind of this lower high and then price nuked way lower. Whereas here you see this bottom, lower high, and then price return to this bottom. We're seeing some defense at that level around $80. So to me, yeah, this looks pretty good as a swing trade opportunity. Let's go to Near. Near is a coin that I have. It's a coin that I'm looking at right now. I think that coins like this are not so good, to be frank and honest with you, in the short term. The reason is that it moved very strongly in January, and because it moved very strongly in January, it's a little bit it's not as far along in its cycle as some of the other coins, such as Solana, which has been downtrending for many months now. With that said, coins like Near do have the kind of latest hype factor, where Near obviously is a lower market cap coin than Solana. It hasn't had these parabolic moves like Solana, so maybe new participants will like latch on to coins like Near. So you know, I kind of open to that idea as well, like from a fundamental standpoint. But like from a purely technical standpoint, I mean, there are some different strategies that you can deploy. If you want to maybe buy, you could look around the $10 area. That's kind of like 200 EMA as well as the 0.5 fib of this recent move. But overall, like I think that coins like Near might just need more time to consolidate. This type of bottom isn't really similar to Solana at all. Like Solana had that, you know, that move down, lower high, then move back down again. That's much more sustainable as a low, in my opinion, than something like Near, which obviously had like a short-term bottom around February, um, and then now it's moving strongly, which is nice. But I don't like. I prefer to see it almost return to this low again for a more sustainable move up. So like if it went down to like $9 again, I think that would be pretty good in general. I don't really necessarily expect it though. It's looking more like it might just kind of hit like a lower high, either like the 13s or 15s, and then it'll probably dump more. Whereas Solana has an actually legit chance of getting to higher levels after it consolidates for a long time. I think that it has a really good chance of going to like, you know, 150, $200 or whatever. Maybe not 200, that's kind of high, but like the longer it consolidates, the healthier it is. Okay, so let's go to AXS. I think AXS falls into the same category as um, it falls into the same category as Solana, where the coin has been just chopping around for quite a while. It's to me, this is forming a bottom structure similar to Solana. It's like kind of the same chart if you look at it. A lot of volume kind of within this area. or it's filling this area out between 40 to 60, 40 to 70. Similar to Solana, I believe that this is just going to chop around a little bit longer and just kind of consolidate. But I think that once it actually moves, I think this could be a strong leader for the altcoin market when it eventually goes. And when this happens, I think that you should look for coins like Sand and Mana and other gaming coins. And that's actually one of the thesis that I have for the next trade that I take too. Is I'm thinking about just buying coins like Sand and Mana because I think it's a 2-for-1, meaning that it will move along if AXS does in fact move, which is what I'm actually thinking and projecting. But you also get like a metaverse type of narrative as well. So like if the metaverse coins start to really pump, then like that's obviously going to be beneficial, and along with the gaming as well. Let's look at Luna, which is obviously one of the strongest altcoins right now. Luna is absolutely insane in terms of like how good it looks. The BTC pair looks awesome as well. It's like near all-time high levels or at all-time high levels. But this kind of area around $90 or $100 is a psychological area. It's the last high around $100, and it's just psychologically like a big number. So it makes sense that price is kind of stalling out a little bit at that point, even though it hasn't tapped it since December. Usually this is like pretty classic double top, to be frank and honest with you. Like it makes sense for price to start pulling back around this area. With that said, Luna is one of the strongest coins, and I don't know how strong of a dump you should really expect for this one. I think that it's probably better just to stay patient and look to buy it. Like if it comes, I think that kind of these areas around like $80 or something like that would be really strong, and same with like 75 if that gives. I don't know if it will, but I'd personally either wait for a break of all-time high levels or wait for a bigger pullback, because I think that a big pullback on Luna would be just like an insta buy, but I don't know if that happens unless Bitcoin shits the bed, just because of how strong this looks. It's like so strong. But personally I would kind of stay sidelined until a break of all-time high levels, and you can just buy it. Looks is a coin that I was like looking at for a long time. I thought it was a really good buy around $1 for several reasons. I thought the volume was insane, psychological number at $1, and just the volatility looked like it looked like there were a lot of sellers and people were still just buying. It's at 142 now, so it's gone up 42% since like I was really looking at this one. And some of my close friends, I've been like talking about this coin for a long time. I still think it's a really good like buy around. Maybe not here, but certainly a decent sized dip could be good. And I'm not saying this is like the best coin ever. Like I think fundamentally it's shit. I think it's like a Ponzi, but it's important to also know that Ponzi's can also go 2 or 3x from the bottom and still like do pretty damn well. Like, I don't expect this one to hit like 7 or 8 like it did in the past, but certainly it could go up to like $3 or 350 or something, and you can still get a 2x from it before it starts to nuke lower. I think that's certainly possible. Um, so yeah, maybe like if this dips down to like 120, then it's certainly like an area where you could consider buying. I do expect coins like this to hit lower highs though, and I think that it will eventually hit like a lower high and then dump. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this altcoin video. I'll try to do a few more of these because I know that people enjoy the altcoin videos more. But talk to you guys tomorrow, hopefully.